Welcome back. This week we're going to be discussing gun shows and taxes, which we know is your favorite two things. With me this week is Kevin. How's it going, Kev?
Oh, it's always good to be here. Talk about the way that the government is going to impose a little bit more on all of us. So stoked to be here.
So, Kevin, we've talked about the subject. In fact, I think it's our subject of the year, the infamous Precursor Part, which I know you've been involved in some of the calls along with our lobbyist, Roy Griffith, up in Sacramento. And when we say calls, it's because they're still, because of COVID, not allowed to meet in person. But Precursor Part seems to be the elusive, lacking definition item.
I love this. I love this piece of legislation. Yeah, they may as well have used the word gobbledygook because we still don't have a definition. A little while ago in a Senate committee meeting where they were discussing Senate Bill 264, our lobbyist actually asked them for a definition along with some other things, and we just still haven't seen it yet. It's got to be one of those things where they know what they want to take away, but they don't necessarily want to define it, or else they're going to be attacked. So they're keeping it as ambiguous as possible, and they're going to try and pass some ridiculous laws.
I'm sure all of you are like Kevin and I, where you're looking at this saying, with the lack of a definition, we're going to end up in these ongoing debates, even in our community. They're currently going on to what is a precursor part? Is it a spring or something that already exists, or is it the raw material? And the fact is, we have to look at Assemblyman Ward and say, you know what, this is not acceptable. You can't start passing legislation that's not defined so people know what they're actually talking about. But Kevin, that's one of the issues too. When you look at not really defining something, we have no further to look than, Mr. Levine, who's an assemblyman, 1223. That assembly bill is about yet more money being placed on us, the gun owner, when we go to purchase a rifle, a shotgun, a pistol, and ammunition. Because it's not already difficult in this COVID world to purchase those items, but we should tax them even more.
Yeah, so this is kind of the other way of ridding people of firearms. If you can't ban them outright, just tax them out of existence. I mean, folks, this is going to affect you directly. They're trying to tax something more than the item itself ultimately, and that's where we're going. I mean, Rick, was it last year or the year before that, we had them increase the tax for the DROS fees, and
Correct.
Now they're looking to add an additional tax to all of this stuff. I mean, we're getting pretty close to the point that we are with gasoline. Eventually we're going to be paying more for the tax than the firearms. And again, this is going to affect low-income communities who are just looking to defend themselves and protect themselves, and they're not going to be able to pay for this.
One of the things I think all of you need to realize is that we have a self-imposed tax that as firearms owners, we already pay. It's known as the Pittman-Robertson Act. And since I believe it was the late 1930s, early 1940s, all of us have willingly paid for it. Every time we buy a firearm, a portion of that money for the firearm actually goes to the state of California to be able to provide for wildlife, ranges for us to be able to ranges. Have we had anyone spend our Pittman-Robertson dollars on improving, let alone building a new range in California?
I'm so glad that you bring this up, because this is one of the sore spots that the community never really actually focuses on. We need to start creating an initiative to hold our elected officials accountable for not using this money. This is millions and millions of dollars on a self-imposed tax that's not being used by our elected officials. And the reason why is because it's earmarked for pro-Second Amendment things. We don't necessarily have a whole lot of elected officials that are looking to build more ranges in California. So the money just gets squandered. And
it's worse. If you look at like Arizona, many of you throughout the state go to Arizona, they have a gorgeous range complex that was paid for with Arizona's Pittman-Robertson dollars. Just a little fact that you might want to know, we are several times more Pittman-Robertson dollars here in California than Arizona, yet we don't even have one range when we could have 10 of those easily. And what Kevin's getting at is that's your money. And what happened, I know, during the previous administration with Obama when he was president, governor after governor sent our Pittman-Robertson dollars back to the general fund, where the president of the United States and Congress could spend it on whatever. when that money was supposed to be specifically spent on things like ranges and range development here in California.
Yeah, so again, I mean, we actually just had a little while ago a good showing at the Senate committee meeting in opposition of Senate Bill 264. And as more committee meetings come up, we really need to contact our legislators. We need to start holding them accountable for these things, and we need to let them know that you can't just tack something out of existence here in the state, especially when it's our only means of self-protection, against some people who are looking to do some pretty awful things, especially during the pandemic.
And we're going to need your help because on April 6th, both of these bills, Assembly Bill 311 and Assembly Bill 1223, are going to be heard. And we're going to need you to join CRPA.org, get in contact with Kevin. We'll have some information down, the links on how you do that, because we need your voices to be heard so they do not do this. Because here's the thing, one tax is $25 on every firearm, but it's an unknown amount that you've yet to define. Just like the previous bill, again, not defining an unknown tax that will go on all your ammunition purchases. And as we already know, ammunition prices have skyrocketed. Wait till we have a tax like this on it. This is a time not to be silent, but to take action and get involved.
Definitely. And as we kind of go forward here again, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you guys think precursor parts are. But as Rick just mentioned, I do want to kind of give a huge shout out to our chapters who continue to advocate for the Second Amendment in California through the legislature. Let's keep doing that. And, if you're not plugged into a chapter right now, you can be very easily. We're doing a lot of electronic stuff. So even if they're not close to you, you can still get in contact with them. You can do that by visiting our website or getting in contact with us through email. Let's get plugged into these chapters and let's continue advocating, because that ultimately is how we're going to reshape the culture here in California.
And as always, we thank you for your time, and what we need is your help by sending this video out to your friends. Get as many people watching these so we can get that groundswell that we need to defeat these erroneous laws here in California.